Profanity.
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
You really adopted the dark. I was born in it.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Bazinga.
2 in the box. Ready to go. We be fast. They be slow.
Cool.
And we're recording. Welcome to the Mt.Geekmore podcast, your favorite podcast where you come to watch, listen, and hear four people talk, debate, and argue over their favorite top four, Mount Rushmore, if you will, of their favorite pop culture subjects. Today's pop culture subject, as you can tell, if you're watching us on video on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch, or if you're listening to the audio version a week from now, it is the Mt.Geekmore of comic book sidekicks. I am Nary Science. With me, as usual, not over here, but over there, is David. Say hi,
Howdy.
David.
Howdy.
And then we have Debona.
What up, y'all? The wallpaper's back.
And the wallpaper is back. We are no longer in the church confessionals. And Mike Mercadal.
Yo, I'm actually in a church confessional, but it's all green, and I have edited it all out.
Nice.
But someone is confessing to so many sins, so many.
Don't you think you took it a little too far with the Catholic Church jokes?
Don't you think the Catholic Church took a little too far?
That was the best.
That's not related to what we're talking about today, though.
Today we are talking about the sidekicks, man. The second bananas. They can't get no respects, guys. So there's gonna be a fun one. All right. How did you guys select your picks? David, start us off with how you selected your picks.
All right, so one of the things that I considered was how good was this character as a sidekick, because it's very difficult for a character to remain a sidekick forever. So oftentimes they'll branch off and they'll become their own hero or their own villain or whatever it is, and then I tried to judge the character based on how they were in the duo and not how they were outside of it, right? So if he's your pick, don't say anything. But like Robin, for example, right? I would judge Dick Grayson based on how he was as Robin with Batman and not as Robin or Nightwing outside of his crime fighting with Batman.
That's weird that you thought of Dick Grayson as Robin. All right, go ahead. To each his own. All right. So that's how you made your selection. Were there any caveats? Were there any self-made rules that you made for yourself?
No, just that I would, I guess if they spent more time as a solo hero than a sidekick, I think that I wouldn't think of them as a sidekick. If they spent an issue or two in a comic book as a sidekick and then did their own thing after that, I don't know that I would consider that, but I guess technically they were a sidekick for that time.
So that's it. You don't have any other caveats. You don't have any. They must have appeared in a comic book prior to appearing in any other media first. Caveats.
We did talk about that, but I don't think so. I don't think that matters.
Oh, okay. I just know how you are, so I think.
Okay.
Because you usually put a lot of rules. You usually make rules for yourself. You're a rules guy, so
I am. Yeah.
So,
I get where you're going with that one now.
Yeah. All right. Debona.
So similar to Dave, I took into consideration whether or not, when you think about this person, do you think of them as a sidekick or do you think of them as what they went on to be later? And that helped me narrow out a couple who went on to do greater things than when they were just a sidekick. I wanted to make sure that the people I picked here, their legacy was being a sidekick, not necessarily what they went on to do later in their career. And I also limited myself to one per label. just to kind of help me, because there's one label that's far more fond of sidekicks than some of the others. And so it would have been real easy to do this just in the one print. And then as I kind of kept going, I ended up just doing, one per label. And like I said, I want their legacy to be them as a sidekick. When you think of them, you don't think of their solo career or what they did on their own. You immediately think of them at that person's right-hand side.
All right. Mike?
I thought we were doing the Chuck Norris movie Sidekicks. So
That's it. We weren't.
On the fly, I am coming up. No, honestly, I didn't know as many sidekicks because I don't consider so many of these. Like when I looked up like stuff, I was like, oh, I don't think of like, and again, if it's on your list, don't say anything. But like Falcon is not a sidekick to me. But that's kind of how that's how he started. I started on the comics as Captain America's partner. Sidekick. And then also it was like, what about them is interesting? Like what is a good sidekick? And in my mind, I'm not a DC guy, and DC is chock full of sidekicks that I'd never fucking heard of.
Correct.
And I can't just do a whole mountain of Robins, but like,
which is a goddamn shame.
But the whole point of like, it's like hard to.
Technically, you could, though.
You could absolutely do.
In theory, there'd be could, and then there would still be honorable mentions.
Yeah.
So,
but I feel like Sidekicks is an example of like old school comic book thinking, and then like that's why I feel like so many of my choices have been clouded by like the MCU and like just like the X-Men like teams, because also they're like, are they a part of a team or are they a sidekick? You know, like those kind of questions, because you know, like who on the X-Men is a sidekick?
Right. I had this issue with Jubilee at one point, if anybody picked Jubilee, which I doubt, but I did have this issue with Jubilee. It's like she did a good long run as essentially just Wolverine's sidekick, but also, I mean, she's a full-blown X-Man. So,
but she was training to be an X-Man,
right?
Not necessarily just a sidekick. And also, like in the movies, there's a bunch of good movie sidekicks that I didn't want tainting my comic book opinion.
Right. So
then it just became a thing of like, well, which ones do I remember and stood out? And then that's kind of it. Like, it's just like personal, absolutely personal memory, first thought, best thought kind of thing.
So Wikipedia defines sidekick. I feel like I'm doing I'm doing like a
You're stepping on Dave's dick over here.
graduation speech. The dictionary defines sidekick as a close companion or colleague, not necessarily in fiction, who is or is generally regarded as subordinate to the one accompanying. The other definitions include like being taught, like it's master, apprentice of something. So that
Squire.
Yeah. So that's what the listen, man, I'm telling you right now, my if there was ever a time that I was gonna get a perfect mountain, it would not be tonight. I promise you, the Vegas odds of me getting a perfect mountain today, if you take those odds, man, those odds. You just put down $100. You're gonna lose 100, but if you win, you're gonna win so much more money. I am not getting a perfect mountain today. It's an impossibility. In a high improbability, I want to say, of getting a perfect mountain. I am going way left field over here.
Love it.
With some of my picks. Some of my picks are gonna be like, well, of course. But some of my picks are going to be like, what the fuck? Some of you may get upset that you think that I'm not taking this list serious. So that's how left field some of my fucking picks are. I have already come up with pictures. And so because this is now also a visual format as well as an audio format, again, Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. I will be posting some pictures because some of these some of you may not know. So I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it at that. That's how I came up with my selection. I'm going left field, baby. Gonna be left field.
You're going. Nary's is gonna be the hipster mountain. Whereas like it's go back. It's artisanal. It's an artisanal sidekick. You wouldn't know it. It's very small batch.
Very seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
Very small area.
You wouldn't know about it. It's incredibly exclusive to be a fan of. Whatever the fuck.
But there is. I'm a huge DC guy. Especially with comic books, especially comic books. I'm a very big DC guy. So I purposely fought to not make it an all DC mountain because I really wanted to, because I love DC comics, the comic books. So with that said, let's get it going.
With the fourth pick.
Number 4. Round 4.
I'm in no mood for your wives crap. Let's get it on.
All right, David, hit me, man. What is your number 4, brother?
My number 4 was actually the first one to pop in my mind because of the long-running title of the series that he had. Even though he had his own series, I don't think anyone thinks of him as anything other than a sidekick. And it's Jimmy Olsen, Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen.
Excellent pick.
Yeah, he is like Batman had Robin, and that was a way for kids to.
It was gave birth to Robin. It was very progressive for the time.
It was. So it was a way for like kids to like kind of get into the story, right? It was like the Watson to Sherlock, and Superman didn't have that. And so when Jimmy Olsen is introduced, it's a way for kids to start kind of seeing themselves in the comic. Like instead of saying, I want to be Superman, it's like, oh, but there I am right next to him. And that kind of always spoke to me in the comics where
I was about to be like, what kind of fucking nerd kid sees himself in Jimmy Olsen? I was about to say that.
This guy.
And you were like, he always spoke to me like,
I identified with C-3PO in the Star Wars movies.
Hey,
not Chewie?
That's what I'm saying. Like only whose favorite character in Star Wars is C-3PO? You're a nerd.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
It's too tight.
Yes,
all right, so Jimmy Olsen. I'm sorry,
So,
Jimmy Olsen.
Jimmy Olsen. His his attitude, like he was never like down about anything. Like, and he's such a go-getter, and he's willing to put himself like in the middle of danger to get that shot. Right.
I'm pretty sure he got turned into a monkey once.
I mean, so many like weird and wacky things happened to him in the 50s and 60s. It was a dark time for DC Comics. That's
as you, sir.
But yeah, I mean, Jimmy Olsen, he's that guy who, like we all kind of in some weird way, we kind of, even though Superman is like ridiculously cool and we want to be like Superman, we kind of wanted to be like Jimmy Olsen a little bit too, right? I wanted to tag along. I wanted to be there on the adventures. I wanted to get the pictures. I wanted to be his friend, and I wanted him to be my friend. And that's what Jimmy Olsen always felt like.
You could tell. You could tell you're not a younger brother. That's what you could tell. Because that's what you are as a younger brother. You're always the fucking tag along. You're always the friend. You're never the one in them. That was me. So that's why I was like, I don't want to be fucking Jimmy Olsen. I want to be the fucking head dude in the park. Fuck, I don't want to be that guy.
Hey.
I am that guy.
Jimmy Olsen got a Spin Doctor song written about him. I don't see Superman with that one going for him.
Yeah,
Superman
if
has
only
movies.
Superman
has all of public media.
If only Superman had songs written about him.
Spin Doctors.
Let's see.
If I go crazy, then will I still be your Superman?
Yeah, there's 1,000 songs of Superman, like titled Superman. It's got it. But I never saw Jimmy Olsen as a psychic. I told you this earlier, Dave. I was having a conversation with you. I never saw him as a psychic. I'm not saying he's not a psychic. I'm just saying I never saw him as a psychic.
If anything, Jimmy Olsen is Clark's sidekick.
It's Clark's friend. because normal humans,
But
Clark wasn't teaching him anything. It wasn't like Jimmy wanted to be a reporter. Jimmy was great at being a photographer. He didn't want to be a reporter. Jimmy's not. Clark wasn't.
Well, that's
But
not necessarily true. He did
Golden Age, Silver Age, Superman comics is the Jimmy Olsen I think of when you talk about him as a sidekick. Like when you go back to those older Superman comics, he very much was Superman's tag along.
Yeah. Because he was tagging along with Clark, he was tagging along with Superman, because inevitably there'd be that costume change, and there he was with Superman, right? And then it would be that sort of thing where after all of the action had like finished, he'd turn around and be like, Clark, did you just see? And then Clark's gone, right? So he and
shitty friend.
Yeah, just the worst. There's no.
You should have seen it. Superman was here. Where have you been, man?
Why do you always leave when there's danger, Clark? What kind of pussy are you?
Yeah,
you missed Superman and everything.
Aren't you a journalist, you pussy? Like, what's wrong with you?
Jimmy Olsen's getting pissed off because Clark's got the stories, even though he wasn't there.
Clark was supposed to be teaching him. Clark was supposed to be teaching him journalism. How it is that you're supposed to be a journalist. He was working his way up.
You fucking run. Yeah. Journalism 101.
Yeah,
make shit up later.
Justice in the American way. You run away and then you write about what you hear happen.
Yeah. You get the passerbys, you get the fucking people around them, and then you interview them. And the less intelligible they sound, the more you fucking quote them. All right. Ask the guy about the leprechaun in the neighborhood. He'll fucking tell you. All right. So Jimmy Olsen. The Bono, what do you got for your number 4?
Speaking of hipstery artisanal picks, my number 4 is a character who can literally only say one word. Is a creation of my favorite comic book author of all time, Brian K. Vaughan. My number 4 is Lion Cat from Saga.
Dude, I thought you were going to say Groot.
No.
He can say 3 words.
Wow.
Yeah, he can say 3
I have
words.
Saga right over there in the other confessional, and I want to read it so bad. Like I want to. It's like I haven't cracked it open, but I heard it's amazing.
Saga is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It's a space opera.
So wait. What's the name of it? What's the name of it?
Lying, Lying, Lion Cat. And Lion Cat is a tiger-sized house cat. He looks like one of those hairless ones from Friends, the Why Is It Inside Out cat.
Gross.
And but he's the size of a tiger, and he follows around a bounty hunter named the Will. And what Lion Cat does is Lion Cat will say lying whenever anyone around him is talking and tells a lie. It's a very specific thing that this breed of cat is made to do. They always have to follow the rules, and the way that they work is they have to point out whenever anybody's lying. And I know that sounds like a character that's not worth mentioning, but when you read Saga, Lion Cat is such an integral part of who the Will is. The Will is the name of the bounty hunter that he follows around. And Lion Cat becomes so important to what the Will does, and is the Will's best friend. He's a bounty hunter. He doesn't associate with people.
He sounds like the worst wingman of all time. I'm sorry, honey. I got an early morning tomorrow. I can't sleep over. Lying.
But Lion Cat has been shown to fight. Lion Cat has taken down armed adversaries. I mean, he can hold his own when the Will gets into it with people. But he ends up with his one word that he can say. He ends up being an integral part of so many storylines, and with also keeping the Will true to what he's supposed to be doing and keeping him in check. Because even when he's just kind of sitting around bullshitting himself about what he thinks he's doing or why he believes that it's good or bad or whether or not this bounty is worth it or what he should be doing, Lion Cat calls him on his own shit, even when it's just the two of them. It's this incredible dynamic that they have between a man and a cat, and it's this weird thing that, like I said, I know that based on this description does not sound like he necessarily deserves a spot on this mountain. But when you read Saga, Lion Cat becomes so cool. And back when we did video game weapons, I kept using the phrase, elegance and simplicity. And that's what Lion Cat is. Lion Cat can fight, can hold his own, and he calls you on your bullshit. I mean, he keeps you straight and honest about what you should be doing. And he ends up being a great character who's there from the very first issue of Saga, which I highly recommend to anybody who has not read it. So my number 4 is Lion Cat.
Interesting.
Definitely.
I want to read Saga so bad. I keep putting it off. I don't know why.
Dude, it's so I love
Whatever.
everything Brian K. Vaughan. Like I love Why the Last Man. I'm very excited for the TV show. Not Invincible. Deus Ex. There's Lion Cat. And like I said, he looks like one of the Sphinx cats, but he's the size of a tiger. So he's also terrifying.
I don't
in
trust
appearance.
any man who has a cat over a dog. I'm just gonna say
It's a fucking tiger-sized cat.
you know, who fucking sees a guy with a tiger and you're like, pussy, get a dog.
Yeah.
Fuck this dude. Get a dog.
Weak
You're walking around with
sauce,
your
motherfucker.
with your dachshund. Like, shh.
Whatever.
Real men have dogs.
Whatevs. All right. That's Lion the Cat, or Lion Cat, whatever the fuck you call him. Mike, what's your number 4, man?
My number 4 is Barbara Gordon, Batgirl.
Oh,
Awesome pick.
specifically as Batgirl.
Table.
Okay.
Jesus.
Table.
Mesa.
Yeah.
Oh,
Am I muted?
Ah.
Table.
Entiendo.
My number 4 is Battle Cat from He. No, I'm kidding.
It's all cat round 4.
All
Cringer's not a bad pick.
It would have been allowable. There are He-Man comics.
Yeah, no, but he's not a sidekick. He's not a sidekick.
He's a mode of transportation.
He's a mode of transportation. not a
I don't know.
Battlecat can hold his own.
Yeah.
Battle Cat more than hold his own. He-Man ain't teaching Battle Cat shit. Fact. He-Man is not teaching Battle Cat a fucking goddamn thing. Battle Cat's like, pussy, it's over here. I know where to go. Yeah. Yeah, my sense of smell is better than your shit. Come on, let's go. Battle Cat's not a fucking sidekick at all. Anyways, my number 4 is Bob, Agent of Hydra.
Honorable mention. Love that pick.
Uh,
Yeah.
So he is Deadpool. He worked with Deadpool. He has absolutely zero powers.
Yeah.
In fact, the Wikipedia page describes him as having a great ability to run from danger. Run from danger is what his Wikipedia says. And in one issue, Deadpool says that he thinks that Bob can run away from danger better than anybody else that he's ever seen. So that's Bob's special ability. He looks cool as fuck. I gotta be honest with you. Digging the look.
He's got that V, man.
Yeah. He's got the line. He's got that line. Anyways, so that's my number 4. It's
Also got a movie cameo in Deadpool 2.
He did get a movie cameo.
Unofficial. They couldn't necessarily use it. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
unofficially, it's Bob, Agent of Hydra, but it's.
But he
It's
was
like-
was he Bob in Deadpool? He was somebody else. He was another name. Wasn't there another
Yeah,
name?
he called him Bob. I'm
No,
pretty
he
sure,
goes.
didn't
He's
he?
like Bob.
There was another. You're right. There was another character in part 2. Remember what was his name? The regular ass dude. What was his name? Was it Terrence? What the fuck?
Oh
was his name?
no, you're talking about Pete or whatever his
Pete.
name.
Yes, Pete from part 2 when he tries to get when he's part of the team and shit for like a split second, and he's like the only one that doesn't die, but then he ends up. But yeah, Bob makes a cameo, and I think wouldn't it be great if they bring that back for Deadpool 3?
Well,
the MCU.
I know we're not. This is off topic, but I know that the best idea I've heard for Deadpool in the MCU is to make a version of Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe and have him kill all of the Fox X-Men.
Did you post this on your Facebook recently?
Yeah, I had shared it. I saw someone post it and I was like, holy fuck. Like, it's too good. It's too perfect. They would never do it exactly as that because that's too perfect. But I love the idea that that's how he gets in. And if you're caught up on Loki, it'll like be, it feels possible.
Yes, sir.
But
Well,
Bob, Agent of Hydra, I do
If
like
you're caught up with Loki, then you know that just like the Boston Celtics, anything is possible. That reference is a lot funnier when I didn't even remember the name of the guy. What's his name?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't remember when what's his name? The Celtics won the championship.
Oh, was it Paul Pierce?
No, it was the other one. Not Ray. Not Paul.
Rondo.
No, man, the big fucking I hate that guy too. The big ticket, was it the calling the big ticket? What the fuck his name is? Anyways, no. That you are no. Anyway, so he said anything is possible. Like it was like one of those things, and he meant like any dream is possible, or whatever. But he said anything is possible, and then Key and Peele then made a skit making fun of him, and then they're like, "Oh, anything is possible," and he's like, "Oh, you mean like metaphorically?" He goes, "No, literally." Anything is possible, and like, you can't fly off. Like children, you can fly if you believe it. You can fly off buildings, and it was this whole fucking thing.
It was Kevin Garnett, which is who I meant when I said Durant. I meant Garnett.
Yeah, Kevin Garnett. I hate that fucking guy. Anyway, that was a great pull on my part, but nobody knows sports here. All right, so Bob, Agent of Hydra. Let me see here. All right, let's go to number 3.
Round 3.
Oh, wait. Number 4 is where Jimmy Olsen, a Lion Cat, Batgirl, and Bob, Agent of Hydra. All right. Let's go. Number 3.
Round 3.
3 is a magic number. Yes, it is.
All right, number 3s, man. David, hit me with your number 3.
So my 3 is the only non-superhero. Okay.
Did we hear? We all heard that, right?
Yeah. It was the ice maker in my kitchen. Sorry, I muted my mic when I realized you guys could probably hear it.
I was gonna say no. Like Mike was like, we all heard that. What are you talking about, Mike? What are you?
No, please.
There hasn't been a noise here in 50 years.
So my number 3 is my only non superhero comic pick, and it's the Kid, or later renamed Dick Tracy Jr. from the Dick Tracy comics. So as a
Dave pick,
yeah, it is a classic Dave pick. As a kid, I obviously saw the Dick Tracy movie, and became immediately obsessed, bought action figures, t-shirts, hats, comic books, you name it. So the Kid goes pretty much back to almost the inception of Dick Tracy, back in the early 30s, and very similar to the movie. If you've seen the movie, you know the Kid's backstory because it's exactly the way it's presented in the comics. He's a street urchin, right? He's an orphan who is found by Dick Tracy.
He's a street rat.
And
riffraff.
Riffraff, street rat. You know,
I don't buy that.
Yeah, well, if you read the comics, then you will, because Dick Tracy adopts him. He kind of, I think, in the strictest sense of what a sidekick is, he's probably closest to it on my mountain, because he really does learn from Dick Tracy. He becomes a detective like his adopted father, and kind of takes on that mantle when Tracy moves on to. They get really wild in the 60s in the Dick Tracy comics. They set up a police station on the moon. There's moon people. It is like wild.
We gotta stop this moon crime. You see?
When the moon landings happened in the late 60s and the early 70s, and obviously there's like no people living on the moon, they have to kind of find a way of working that in. So, you know, they kind of all moved back and all that. But around that time, that's when the Kid grows up and he starts doing his own thing and taking over all the stuff that Dick taught him back on Earth. So it's a really cool dynamic. He views Dick not just as a father, but as his immediate superior. Kind of in the same way that Wally West looks at like the Flash, you know, like I'll never be that good, you know, I'll never be that guy. So yeah, the Kid, Dick Tracy.
His main villain was Moonface.
Moonface.
Damn you, Moonface.
And then he became Peter Pan's son.
That's how acting works.
That's right.
That we can all agree Dick Tracy's the best comic book adaptation of all time, right?
It's up there.
It's a perfect film.
I love it.
It's so good.
It's genius, incredibly acted by Dustin Hoffman
And
Al
Madonna.
Pacino.
Oh, he's great.
Pacino.
Pacino's
Madonna, tour de force performances. The set design was immaculate and perfect and not overdone or gaudy in any way. It's a perfect film.
Listen, man,
I hate that movie so much. I did everything that Dave did in reverse. I bought all the fucking merchandise. I had the shirt. I had the hat. I had the toys. I had this shit because they promoted the fuck out of this. The marketing fucking team was A+, bro. Give them a fucking raise. And I got them all that shit. And then I saw the movie and I was like, get this fucking shit off. The fuck am I wearing? What is this? I will still give credit to the fucking shirt. That silhouette fucking t-shirt. Fucking tits. I had it in black and in yellow. That's how fucking much I love that fucking shirt. But I bought them both before I saw the movie. And then I saw the movie and I was like, I'm fucking out of here. I can't take this shit.
If someone bought me a collection of the Dick Tracy comic, like one of those trade paperbacks, and it was awesome. I love that thing. It was super cool art style. I mean, it's just well done. Dick era comic.
Dick Tracy, the comics, they predate Superman and Batman and even the Phantom. So
really?
They go back, I think, to 1931. 1931.
Turning around to grab his number one.
I'm turning around to look at my my volume 1. It's 1931. You know, Superman doesn't even come into existence until 1938. You know, so and that idea of a rogues gallery, the way that we see Batman have a rogues gallery where these guys have like really, really like over the top designs and stuff like that. All that goes back to Dick Tracy.
Also, I'm convinced that if that movie didn't exist, Wes Anderson would not have a career.
That is so specific a reference. Okay.
So I love that movie. I absolutely love that movie. I know it's cheesy. I know it's over the top, but it's exactly what the comic books are. It did for me what I think like the Dark Knight or Iron Man did for a lot of people getting into comic books when those movies came out.
So listeners, take that into account when you hear any of David's opinions. Any of them. All of them.
Well, that's what we say. We're like, yeah, no, your story checks out. Like, there is not a single doubt of 1931. You said 1931?
1931.
Are you looking for the art for the kid?
No, I want to look at who's the first comic book.
Oh, I mean,
all right. So this is not a comic book. It was actually comic strips. And then
Family Circus.
They were later
kind of Famous Funnies. Famous Funnies was pretty fucking there. It was 1929. Dell Publishing published The Funnies, described in the Library of Congress as a short-lived newspaper tabloid insert.
So that would be a comic strip as well.
Well, 16 pages. so I don't know what the fuck I mean.
Oh, so it's probably a collection of comic strips.
The Funnies ran for 36 issues, published Saturdays through October 16, 1930.
Wow. That's kind of what they did with Dick Tracy after the comic books took off with Superman. I mean, Superman really was the one who made comic books take off, and he is the first superhero, no doubt. Although not right. They collected a whole bunch of the Dick Tracy story arcs, and they would just publish them all together in like one issue.
Yeah. All right, cool. The Bono, what do you got for your number 3?
My number 3 is a character with 0 powers. He does not fight crime in the superhero sense. However, he does fight crime in his own way. He is the definition of a ride or die. My number 3 is Foggy Nelson.
Oh,
nice!
So good a pick.
I thought about picking him, and then I remember.
Fuck, I should have picked him.
to show the depth of my love for Daredevil and for Foggy Nelson as well. It goes so deep that is literally my dog's name. My dog's name is Foggy Nelson. If you're watching live, you saw him jump up on my the arm of my chair here a few minutes ago. Foggy Nelson is a guy who has been around since Daredevil #1.
I want you to keep saying Foggy Nelson so that your dog goes what?
Well, I've been gone for 2 weeks, so he's already being like super needy. So he's sitting right down here as it is. Anyway, Foggy Nelson's been around since Daredevil #1. He has been Matt Murdock's right-hand man for his entire career as a lawyer. They are lifelong friends. This is a guy who has been stabbed, put into the witness protection program, tasked with being Daredevil at one point, rather unsuccessfully. He eventually recruited T'Challa and Danny Rand to help him out because he was awful at it. Foggy Nelson has done it all. He has been aware of who Matt Murdock is. He has been unaware of who Matt Murdock is. He has gone toe-to-toe with Kingpin and other supervillains. He has been beaten. He has been near death so many times. Like I said, he was proclaimed dead at one point and put into witness protection. But Foggy Nelson is so important to Matt Murdock that after the most recent Secret Wars, spoilers, I guess, if you're listening to this, I guess you read comics. After the most recent Secret War.
I haven't read Secret Wars.
Okay, well, there's the Purple Children are the offspring of Purple Man, and Matt Murdock uses them to erase the knowledge of the fact that he's Daredevil from the collective unconscious, like from everyone in the world. He uses the Purple Children to erase that, and he then goes out of his way to be like, oh, by the way, Foggy Nelson, hey, I'm Daredevil. Like, you're the only one who knows that now, so you've got to live with that. Foggy never runs away from anything. Him and Matt have had he's as much what's interesting about Foggy Nelson is he's as much Matt Murdock's sidekick as he is Daredevil's sidekick, more so in a lot of ways. And I mean, he's literally his partner in crime as they have opened multiple law firms together. He has been there through the good, the bad, and the ugly. He was there when they first started. Every time Matt Murdock has to start a new law firm because this one went under because he's doing everything pro bono, he's always got Foggy right there. Foggy Nelson has never run away from Matt Murdock, no matter how bad things have gotten. He's always there for him. Whether or not, even back when he didn't know he was Daredevil, he was there for Matt. But he's always been there. He's always supported Daredevil as a character, as a vigilante. He's always supported Matt as a lawyer with any and all knowledge he may or may not have. Foggy Nelson never ran. Like I said, even after he was stabbed and put into witness protection, it was reaching out to Matt that exposed him from being in witness protection. And he was kidnapped by the mafia. And he still went back to Matt when it was all said and done. This guy cannot get away from Matt Murdock. They both kind of had women. Those both fell off. He ended up divorced and he's just right back. And he was right back in the thick of everything. There's absolutely nothing. At this point, they have exhausted all options of what could possibly drive Foggy Nelson away. And he continues to go nowhere and to stand right there by Daredevil and Matt Murdock's side. And the only reason he's not higher on my list is because, he doesn't do a lot of cool stuff. He's just like, he's
just a guy. He's a lawyer.
Yeah, he's just a guy, right?
I will say
the rest of my list are guys who do cool stuff.
It is accurate to say that he's more Matt Murdock's sidekick than, because here's the thing. I don't know why I dismissed Foggy Nelson because I kept coming back to the guy who plays him on the Netflix series. That he's awesome. That show.
Yeah.
I seriously hope that some of those actors get second life on Disney Plus because the Charlie Cox and I forget the actor's name who plays Foggy on the show. They had such great chemistry. He was like such a good character. He was great in the courtroom scenes, but he was also great at being schlubby. That's my first thought now
Eldon
when I
Henson.
think of.
Yes. Jon Favreau. But that's fine.
Jon Favreau played him in the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie, but
Eldon Henson,
yeah, he's I genuinely loved his portrayal of Foggy in that show, but that was the one that I went to, and then I just dismissed it as like, oh, I just like the TV show. But then I'm like, no, man, he's all
great.
over the fucking comic. He's so good in the comics. He's like a linchpin in the motivations because Daredevil is all based on like guilt and shit. you know, like the Catholic guilt and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So like to have a best friend that's always in danger or always putting his neck on, like Foggy doesn't do it to get something out in return from Matt Murdock, but Matt Murdock feels guilty for everything that anybody does for him, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a great like balance. That's a good choice. Great pick.
Has anybody ever thought about hiring Lion Cat as in a court of law?
Like make him a bailiff.
Yeah, just bring him over like lying.
Yeah.
Did you murder? Lying. Like,
The court system as we know it would crumble, sir.
crumble. It would fucking flourish. Like no, you can't lie.
Well, no, it would work like it's supposed to. Therefore, crumbling the establishment of what they have created in the court system.
Every lawyer is like, great, went to fucking school for this many years for nothing.
Yeah.
You're bringing a fucking cat. Lying.
Bring a fucking cat. I would just love, like, because you don't know what Lion Cat's voice is. I would love for it to be like a really sassy lying.
He was always Gilbert
like,
Gottfried in my head.
It's lying.
Lying.
Like it's just it's not even like smooth. It's just annoying. Like nah, because
It's
like,
Gilbert Gottfried after like a 3-day coke binge.
Yeah. Lying.
All right, Mike, what did you get for your number 3?
Jason Todd, Red Hood.
Okay.
Motherfucker uses guns, which is something that Batman is totally lacking.
Okay, so you're saying Jason Todd is Red Hood, not as Robin.
Well, here's the thing. He's dead as Robin.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like there's other, like he's not the best Robin, but he's a great example of like when someone loses the sidekick, how it changed. Like how the sidekick.
Who's Red Robin? What? And again, I bother your knowledge. Anybody here? Red Robin, was he the sidekick to Batman?
Red Hood is
Red Hood. I'm sorry, Red Hood. Was Red Hood? I don't remember him being the sidekick to Batman.
Yeah, I don't see him as a sidekick to Batman.
It's Murky Waters, the whole Bat family. Right?
Yeah, he's not a family, but I don't see him as a sidekick. I see him as like, who do we need more hands on deck? Well, we still got Red Hood.
I know this is going to come back around, but I was about to make the same argument about Barbara Gordon as Batgirl, so I know we'll come back around to that. So.
Guys, don't pick apart my picks. I have so few that are honest and not just me.
You could pick Robin as Jason Todd. You could pick Jason. You know what I mean? You could pick that.
The show ain't over yet, baby.
I really wanted to pick an all Batman mountain and be fucking phenomenal.
But
all right, so Red Hood.
Here's the thing: if we go Jason Todd as Robin, the loss of Jason Todd motivates such a big change in the Batman character and the Bat family as a whole that it's like. Also, again, it's really hard for me to separate it from all the animated DC movies. Like the DC animated Red Hood movie is fucking awesome. And
so good.
So good. But it's hard for me to process the idea of these characters without mixing in the other media. I was struggling to think of like pure comic book choices, but this is where we are, and this is what you guys are going to get, and that's just my mountain. And I'll stay with it.
In the Titan show, I haven't seen it, but fuck, it looks. I mean, the trailer looks fucking great.
I have no interest in watching that. It looks like garbage.
My favorite Red Hood is the one that hangs out with Roy Harper, and his costume is just like a fucking bandana, like tied around his head. He hangs out with Trucker. He hangs out with Trucker hat Roy Harper.
Well, the idea of like the Red Hood and like the fact that I like that he becomes this other character, but again, all these sidekicks become their own entities at a certain point. Otherwise, it feels super stagnant. You know what I mean? Like, how can someone just be a sidekick forever? You know, and still be engaging. You know, so for me, it's hard. Like this is a hard mountain, honestly, because so many good characters have to grow and change for them to be good characters. You know, and to be a sidekick forever. You know, like. I don't want to make references, but like Wally West and you know, like stuff like that, where they eventually become these unique singular entities that have their own story. That's the mark of a good character. So they're not sidekicks anymore. You know what I mean? They're not. They've moved past it. So essentially, I'm just going by the sidekick was a part of either their origin or their story at some point, and now they're dope.
Go lay down.
Your dog is my new sidekick.
I'm telling you, he's like, I've been gone 2 weeks. Like I said, he's keyed up. I just said his name 100 times. He doesn't know what's going on.
You were literally. He's like, you said my name 1,000 times. This is your fault.
I'm here. What do you want?
I can't pull over any farther.
By the way, he is literally like AKC registered as Foggy Nelson DeBona II. So I'm serious. That's his name.
But Red Hood.
Get down.
Is that the second dog you named Foggy Nelson?
No, but like he's named after the original Foggy Nelson. I know his last name wasn't DeBona, but it's a name.
Okay.
But yeah, Jason Todd. He dies. He comes back. He's ruthless. He creates a moral ambivalence in Batman. He creates.
That is where the sticking point of Jason Todd is so beautiful. Like when he does come back, he comes back and he sees the statues and stuff, and he's so pissed off that just things didn't play out for him like he always kind of thought they were, and him coming back was like wasn't it because like Superboy Prime like punched a hole in reality or something like that?
It was Comics, baby.
Right.
Jason Todd?
Yeah.
No. At least in the comics,
I thought it was during like Infinite Crisis.
No, was another arc.
He was saved. The original Under the Red Hood was saved by Ra's al Ghul.
That's what I was gonna.
I thought it had something to do with Superboy Prime punching his way through reality.
That might be Rebirth. I don't know. I don't know the new DC.
He was thrown in a Lazarus pit and brought back to life.
Yeah.
And that process of coming back like fucked with his head. So that's why he's trying to kill Batman upon his re-entry into the DC universe, which is a fantastic story.
Yeah. But the idea of the loss of there was rumors that it was going to be the Batman movie or the new Snyderverse Batman. When you see that whatever that was the Jason Todd, and eventually we were going to get a cinematic Red Hood version, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I think would have been very, very cool. In light of the Snyder cut, I think it would have been cool. I'm still not like one of those zealots, the Snyder zealots, but I do think if they would have just let him run, it would have been really interesting to see what he did with like what Ben Affleck would have done with the Batman Jason Todd return. That would have been pretty cool. But the idea of the loss of a sidekick is also like they killed off so many Robins, like they even let like the audience, the readers vote to see if they bring Robin back, and they were like, kill that motherfucker.
Right. Because at the
time,
like that smart aleck, fast mouth, like sidekick that wasn't in style. Like Jason Todd as Robin right now would flourish. People would eat that Jason Todd alive. But at the time, the idea of a sidekick was to be seen and not heard. You didn't question what you were told to do. And so that idea of the fact that he was just a mouthy kid really rubbed that audience the wrong way, and letting people vote on it was
had he been
tragic and super amazing.
I think it's also kind of the culture shifting in terms of the population in general, like because that was like after the war. When did they do the
that was late. It was late 80s.
Was late 80s. 88.
Yeah, I think at that point it felt like such an antiquated trope. Like the idea of a Robin felt also super campy in the light of the 60s Batman, and then in this like this kind of modernization and like that gritty realism of 70s cinema, like everything became this kind of gritty thing.
It's because no one could be Burt Ward.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that played a part in it, because almost immediately afterward, there was another Robin.
Yeah, but they weren't going to, like, that's the thing. They weren't going to kill Robin. They were going to kill Tim Drake. The idea of Robin would always be there because Batman is a fucking crazy person and he needs someone to save.
Tell him to take his meds.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Bruce. If you could, it's time for your meds. You got to take it. All right.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, went on a rant.
Red Hood, Batman. All right.
Jason Todd.
Jason. Oh, yeah. Red Hood. It's Red Hood. You pick Red Hood. Is that who you picked?
Jason Todd. Both.
He's just picking Jason Todd.
Both sides of his death. Well,
Fair
the
enough.
before and the after of his death is who I pick.
Jason
You
Todd,
gotta
the gray
chill.
and the white.
Yes, yeah. When he returns on the light of the fifth day,
Right.
that guy.
Yo, were y'all reading week? Look, I'm going to take this Jason Todd thing one thing further. Were y'all reading weeklies during Hush? When there was there was an issue of Hush where the very last page was the bandages coming off and it was Jason Todd, and the comic book community like collectively shit themselves. It eventually ended up being Clayface, but
Right.
in that moment, that was one of the wildest things that happened in the early 2000s in comic
It was.
books.
I hated that. It's one of the things that I hate about Hush, and I do generally like the Hush story arc, but it's played up so much for shock.
Yeah.
And there's no substance to it. Like it's a great cliffhanger, but then it's like, oh, it's Clayface.
Right, but I just
Right, like it turns into nothing.
Before that next one came out, man, I remember being at the comic book shop the next day, and that was all anybody wanted to talk about. And then it all just evolved into conversations about whether or not Jason Todd should have survived the calling campaign and shit like that. It was a wild, but that book came out bi-weekly, I think.
That's my problem with books that come out so frequently is that they have to keep the sales up. And so they're like, okay, we're just like churning these things out, So
yeah. All right. My number 4. It's funny.
3.
I'm sorry. My number 3. You're right. It's funny that Dave, you had the kid because my number 3 is the child. I'm kidding. How you fucking guys take a shit there? You're like, the child. Oh shit.
The child.
Yes, the child. I guess you don't watch Disney Plus, right? You don't watch Mandalorian?
The child has a fucking name.
No, he's a fucking child. Okay, you call him the child.
Has a name.
Or let him tell me the fucking name. I mean that.
We still call him Baby Yoda in this house.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry. I show him a little more respect than you guys.
Well, there you go.
He is Grogu. He is Grogu.
Yeah. So no, I'm kidding. That's not my pick. It would have been a fucking good pick, to be honest with you.
He is a great sidekick.
He was a good sidekick, and to be honest, he is a better pick than what's actually my number 3, because my number 3 is a duo of Rocksteady and Bebop.
All right.
Wow.
All right.
Bravo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's
wow.
In the comics, they have gone for a fucking wild ride, man. They got, at one point, they got tired of fucking fighting. They're like, we just want to, they kept fucking like daydreaming of being just regular animals again. And then at the close of one of the series of the books, they actually went to a dimension where it was like a utopia of just like, it looked like basically Africa.
Female warthogs and female rhinos.
No, but it was just a utopia of like land, but it was empty. It was nothing, and they fucking loved it, and they had a good time. And then when the books came back, they some other bad guy came and fucking picked them up because they were getting bored of just a place. So they took them back to fucking fight the turtles. However, Rocksteady and Bebop had a plan. They didn't want to fight the turtles, so when the whole fight was going on, Rocksteady and Bebop just fucking left and went to the store, picked up some clothes that looked a lot like their previous clothes because they were naked at that time. And then they went to the gun shop. They stole a couple of guns. Then they went to the zoo, fucking broke all the animals out of the zoo. And when they came back to the fucking fight scene, the fight was already over. The turtles had already won. And they were like, we don't want to fight. We just want to go fucking home. We want to go back to that fucking planet. And the turtles fucking said, yeah. The turtles were like, yeah, no fight here. They gave up. The turtles gave up. We don't want to fight. Because they had all these.
We support eco-terrorism.
Yeah, because they had all these animals with them. So then the turtles were like, well, can you do us a favor since we're not going to fight? Can you take these fucking bad guys back to their Dimension X? And they're like, yeah, we'll fucking do that. And that's it. And that was like it. So that was the thing. And they've been so fucking wild. At one point, they had been defeated by the turtles, but then they still wanted to fucking be in the Foot Clan, and they were very conscious. Like even as animal form, they were very conscious. They were like, "No, we need to get back to this fucking Foot Clan, and we need to stay." And they entered a tournament. It's a fucking lot, man. A lot happened to them in the comics. And
what a good pick. What a good pick.
That is
I'm
a
glad you
spectacular
got.
pick that I did not even consider.
I didn't even think of it. Yeah.
I'm glad you guys liked it because I was like, after I said the child as a joke, I was like, oh, I probably should fucking keep this one because the child is really good.
Well, I mean, has Grogu appeared in any comic books yet?
And the
No, that's
Mandalorian
right, we're
comic.
just doing comics.
Yeah,
But no, I love so Bebop and Rocksteady first
I only
premiered.
said it I only said it as a joke because you picked the kid, and I thought that was a funny fucking.
Yeah,
reference.
no. I knew what you were doing. But I'm just thinking.
Bebop and Rocksteady go back to like the late '80s, right?
Yeah.
So like they were
wise. They made their first appearance in the show in the animated show. That was their first appearance, and then they got brought in.
88, 89.
Sure,
but
probably somewhere around there.
But what's awesome about Bebop and Rocksteady, for me as who I am, they were like this weird like influence of like punk culture to an extent, right? Like with their glasses and their piercing, like and he had the septum and everything. It was this cool thing where it was like, so we need these guys that are against the grain, like they're not like anybody else. Then there's one writer who's like, there's a whole fucking culture of people out here that their thing is being not like anyone else. Like, fuck it, yeah, that's it. Make them look like they could be in a Devo revamp.
Yeah, the punk culture. It's like someone must have been like walking down in the '80s, like somewhere, and they see like a couple street toughs with their cool sunglasses. And they're like, yeah, we can't put junkies in our cartoon, but we can make them a rhino, and we can make them a warthog. It's like, somewhere there's like some crackhead who should be getting paid likeness rights.
Yeah, like they were
just crackhead.
They were this amazing amalgamation of everything that was counterculture in the late '80s, like in appearance, and it's this really cool thing to go back and look at now and kind of understand, where this idea for Bebop and Rocksteady came from, down to their names.
Well, they came about because when they were doing the show, the TV show, the cartoon, was it Mattel, the toy maker?
It's a toy. It's like a big commercial for toys.
But
absolutely.
They specifically asked, we need more mutants to make toys, and the creator was like, okay, you're a fucking warthog, and like he created the whole. So it was pretty cool. But as a kid, I enjoyed them as a kid. I get that they were meant for like community, release or whatever, but I enjoyed them as a kid.
I still feel a little bitter about the movie, The Secret of the Use, with Toka and Razor, where I'm just like, just make Bebop and Rocksteady, like just do Bebop and Rocksteady.
I'll never understand. There's got to be some sort of like
licensing
insider track onto why they didn't just use Bebop and Rocksteady, because I don't understand.
I think the reason is quite simple. We were just talking about it. No, I think it's the reason we just brought it up. They wanted to make more mutants so they could sell more product.
Oh, so if there's Bebop and Rocksteady toys out there already,
they already have the animated show, so they're already selling Bebop and Rocksteady. Let's make fucking this movie's gonna make $1 billion. Let's make fucking these other two mutants, and we'll sell more toys about those fucking two. And they're still gonna be selling Rocksteady and Bebop. Why not? Who gives a fuck? I mean,
it was Playmates, by the way.
Playmates, there you go. It's not bad logic. It's not like to be
not at all.
Like, they're already buying Rocksteady and Bebop. Why they're not gonna buy another Rocksteady and Bebop set? Fucking change it up. So that's my number 3, man. Rocksteady and Bebop, or Bebop.
That's a great pick, man.
That's a great. That pick is so much fun, and I didn't even consider them. I love that pick.
My streak of not getting Perfect Mountain still rides. All right, let's go over the number 2s.
Round 2.
Dose, the sequel to Uno.
And just to recap, the number 3s were the Kid from Dick Tracy, Foggy Nelson from Daredevil, Jason Todd from Batman, and Bebop and Rocksteady with Shredder. Being Shredder's sidekick.
Henchman, which is the bad guy version of Sidekicks.
Yeah, Wikipedia.
Interesting.
Wikipedia made that distinction. They were like, here's a list of sidekicks. By the way, these do not include supervillain sidekicks, which are henchmen. And I was like, oh boy. All right, Dave, what is your number 2? Give me your deuce.
All right, so my number 2 might be argued here because of some terminology that Neri threw out earlier between sidekick and henchman. See, I've always viewed as a henchman as the sidekick to a villain.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I think they count.
Okay, cool. So then my number 2 is Harley Quinn.
Table.
Okay, so here's the reason why it's not about. I'm not talking about Harley.
Actually, it's my number 2 also.
Yeah.
okay.
I'm not talking about Harley Quinn, but here's the difference between Harley Quinn does not fall into the henchman category. To me, henchmen are like nameless, like fucking
like the
thugs.
Foot Clan.
Like the Foot Clan, the thugs, the Joker's thugs, who are all fucking whatever. There's a clear, distinct difference between Joker's thugs and Harley Quinn. Like there's an obvious difference. So that's to me the difference between a site. It's like the same thing as like an agent of Shield being and Bucky Barnes. Those two are not the. I mean, just because they work for the same organization doesn't make them the same.
So like henchman is below villainous sidekick.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, no, fair enough. No. Like henchmen are the nameless masses.
The henchmen see the villainous sidekicks and they go fucking goals. Like, that's what they're like, I want to get to that
They're
point.
the ones that Batman murders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They're the ones that Batman murders, and then villainous sidekicks are the ones that Batman beats up relentlessly to a fucking bloody pulp near death.
But lets them live because he's not a killer. Because if you kill a killer, then
you're a killer.
Number's still the same.
And you become nothing better than that. Yes, you're. It's okay.
But yeah, no, Harley Quinn was my number 2 also. Because she's like iconic now, and she started her life as a sidekick, as a cartoon. But that's how then she like grew into this comic book entity with like Mad Love and all that stuff. Sorry, Dave, I didn't mean to jump all over your thing.
No, go ahead.
But she's my number 2 as well, and that's because that it's you can't like deny her presence in pop culture as like just an incredibly well-known sidekick. Like she was Joker's sidekick without a doubt. Everybody knows that that's how she started, that's who she is, and only now is she becoming this kind of not only now, but you know what I mean, like she's become this kind of singular
with the Suicide Squad movie and a lot of that has to do with Margot Robbie. I mean, she played her brilliantly. But I think like her like cult of personality has been growing since her very first appearance. She very quickly made it from the cartoon show, the animated show, to the comic books. And when Paul Dini comes out with Mad Love in the late 90s, she goes from being a character that her appearance was cool to no, she's an amazing character, and the psychology of her is fascinating.
That's the absolute word I would use, is fascinating. Like this idea of it started as Stockholm syndrome, right? Like we can understand that Harleen Quinzel was somebody who was very much affected by Stockholm syndrome and ended up becoming Harley Quinn. And the fact that becoming Harley Quinn seemed to unlock something deep inside of her is what's always fascinating to me about Harley Quinn. Is it started as this mentally abusive relationship, but it did seem to unlock a truer self. She did seem to be more so Harley Quinn than Harleen Quinzel when it was all said and done.
We see a lot of that in the comics as her relationship with Selena Kyle develops, as her relationship with Poison Ivy develops.
Well,
the Gotham City Sirens series, which is, I think, one of the most underappreciated series, which I think they're doing a movie on now, but it seems almost entirely unrelated to the comics, like in name only sort of thing. But that series, like the selling point to comic book nerds was, hey, here's all the hot chicks, and there's going to be boobs. But it was actually
love boobs.
Right, but it was actually so well written, incredibly well written.
Well, that's a testament to like Paul Dini said when he created because Paul Dini created the character because they needed like a henchman, like a number, like the first chair henchman, the number one henchman identity, and he created this kind of like quirky girl, and that was like crazy, and then they added this backstory as it went on because it hit so fucking hard. And it was one of the like that was like Bruce Timmons, like there's a documentary thing that came out for the 25th anniversary. Actually, if you go on Zeros on Heroes, you can hear the interviews I did for at New York Comic Con. But the idea of like it hit so hard, people like especially girls grabbed onto that character so hard because she was big and like had personality, sarcastic. What's the name of the lady who did the voice?
Sorkin, something Sorkin, right?
Arlene Sorkin. And so essentially the that character being such a big personality, he was like, it hit harder than anyone ever expected. And now it's become this whole thing that people were like catching up with how popular it got. Like it's like the Boba Fett of it. Where like all of a sudden people saw it and were like, "Fuck yes!" and they were like, "Really? Yeah. Let's put it in more stuff." You know, like, and then it became this kind of like really deep character. You know, like all of the Batman stuff is about abuse and like trauma and crazy. You know, like and this was like such an interesting.
It's
like,
probably because it's always nighttime there. Probably has something to do with it.
The sun never rises in Gotham City.
So weird.
Or on the Japanese Empire.
You know what? A good representation of Harley Quinn is also in the Arkham games, the Arkham Asylum and Arkham. The performances in that game are awesome for all the characters.
Dude, the HBO Max series, Harley Quinn's HBO Max series.
It's so fucking
amazing.
Does Tara Strong do her voice now?
Tara Strong has been doing it since the Arkham games.
Right.
But
we're talking about the show, the Harley Quinn show.
The Harley Quinn show is Kaylee
Cuoco.
From
from Big Bang?
She crushes it, dude. I'm telling you, that show is fucking amazing.
It's on HBO Max?
It is. It's on HBO Max. The first two seasons. Season 3 is coming out soon. And that show is Rick and Morty level fucking smart writing.
I've been real hesitant about watching it because I have this weird relationship with Harley Quinn as a character where I get this I have a daughter, right? And so I get this weird thing about like I don't want my daughter to love Harley Quinn, but I want her to like come into the world.
This series will fucking change that for you. This series is what the movie
smart as fuck.
Super smart. What the movie started to do, as far as breaking away from Joker, like the Birds of Prey movie, where it's like breaking away from Joker and not being what that movie started to do. This show, because it's 2 seasons long, soon to be 3 seasons, is that like it shows you how smart she is, and it shows you like it's fucking crazy funny, and Rick and Morty level fucking funny, bro. I'm telling you, it's really good.
The only reason I didn't pick Harley Quinn is because, like I said, I have this real like love-hate like weird thing with Harley Quinn, where when written well, Harley Quinn's an amazing character, but like at surface level, like, you know, she's just become like this alt girl icon for people who don't actually understand like the trauma that's involved with who Harley Quinn is as a character.
Yeah, but
I think that's a problem with society and not a problem with Harley Quinn.
I'm okay with that because what they're liking is the look. They're liking the aesthetics, the costume, and the fucking blah, and you know what I mean, and the fun side of like taking a baseball bat and like breaking into the store for a person. I'm okay with that. Most people like Batman and don't fucking understand how fucked up he is. You know what I mean? Like most people don't understand that shit. But let's be real, most people don't understand most superhero lure. They don't understand. They think Captain America stands for the government. I've had fucking people on the I've had multiple people on the Geekmore fucking Instagram throughout the years. You know, they'll be like, well, Captain America's about, you know, the protecting the U.S. government. And I'm like, buddy, read a fucking
absolutely
comic.
not.
Yeah. Captain America is very anto-jingoistic.
So
read a motherfucking book.
So it's like all of this shit. So like most people don't know, like most casual fans of comic books are just that. They're casual fans. They don't know the deeper meaning. So I don't put that on the character. I don't put
true enough, and I shouldn't.
I don't put that on Harley Quinn. I don't put that on Batman. I'm like, they don't fucking know. And even when I hate when people speak crazy shit like, oh, Batman doesn't kill. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, you're so stupid. You let one fucking movie trilogy fucking cloud your mind, and you think you know everything about fucking Batman now. And by the way, he also killed people in that fucking trilogy. He has rocket launchers on his motorcycle. Stupid.
But he doesn't hold them in his hand.
Yeah. What do you think those are? Anyways, Harley Quinn. All right, for David and Mike. Hit me with your number 2, bro.
So my number 2 is also one that could be debatable if y'all are fans of the particular comic that he's from, but the way I view him as a sidekick, because even when his story was over, it came down to him fighting along this guy's side. My number 2 is Abe Sapien.
Ooh, nice. Very nice.
Good pick. I didn't think of him as a sidekick, but you're right.
Right. So yeah. Abe Sapien started as just a side piece in the Hellboy and the BPRD like comics.
Side piece makes it sound like they were fucking.
You're right.
Who said they weren't, sir? Who said they weren't? You don't know what they do when the comic book closes.
Yeah. So Abe Sapien, if you're unfamiliar with comics, is like a fish person who was an Ichthyo Sapien. There's a whole backstory as to why he is who he is. He was named Abe Sapien because when he was found, it was with a newspaper article about Abraham Lincoln's assassination. So they named him Abraham Sapien. Abe has got powers. He has telepathic, sometimes telekinetic style powers. He's very skilled in hand-to-hand combat. He's an amazing character. And the reason I think of him as a sidekick is because he was built to be a foil to Hellboy. He exists solely to be the other side of the Hellboy coin. Hellboy is a guy who views everything as black and white. There's good, there's bad. I do what I'm told, and then it happens. Abe is very philosophic in everything that he does. Abe accomplishes things after he thinks about why things should happen and how they should happen. Abe is a guy that can very much hold his own in a fight and has been shown to. He went on to have his own book. But when that book ended, the end of the Abe Sapien book is him side by side with Hellboy. It was all very full circle, and that's how I justify him as a sidekick, because Abe Sapien's end was standing at the right hand of a reincarnated Hellboy, and that is how he made his final stand against what was, again, kind of a Rasputin reincarnation. And so, but he's a character who on his own was also incredible. But his entire purpose in his creation was to be the spackle that filled the holes in what was Hellboy. Abe was created and filled all of the things that Hellboy didn't think about, didn't do, and wouldn't do.
And he eats eggs, so that's a plus. A lot of protein, baby. A lot of protein.
The movie Abe Sapien was a little different than the comic book Abe Sapien, because comic book Abe Sapien was almost like more sarcastic and kind of like super like above it all. Like he was so smart that he was like above it all, and it was a really cool presentation of like the dumb jock and the smart not nerd, like not the nerd. You know what I mean? Like it was more along the lines of like it's hard.
The movie version of him was Niles, right?
Yeah, it wasn't his voice, but it sure as hell was that character.
Oh, it wasn't his voice?
No, it wasn't his voice. No. And it wasn't and it wasn't Niles in Shape of Water either, which is a shittier version of fucking Ape.
I honest to God, until this exact moment, thought that Niles was the voice of Abe Sapien.
No, he was the guy that he was played by the guy that played Silver Surfer.
Doug Jones.
It's Doug Jones.
Oh,
that's his voice. Yeah, he's iconic character actor, amazing.
Yeah, I just always thought it was not. Okay, anyway,
he sounded like, but he was playing the character of the like nebbishy Niles Crane.
Right, but Abe was so like I said,
he did ask for Sherry at one point in the movie. He was like, Sherry? Sherry?
What's amazing about Abe Sapien as a character is the fact that, like I said, he was literally created to be what Hellboy wasn't, which is what makes a good sidekick.
What was Abe Sapien created for?
to.
Say it one more time.
Okay. He was created to be what Hellboy wasn't.
You said it like 6 times. You're like, he was literally created to spack. I'm like, but he was literally created. Okay, I got
yes, got it.
I know.
and so, like I said, while he did go on, he was very much an amazing character in his own right, and what he did was separate from what Hellboy did.
Nobody's arguing the fact that
I know. It's just I struggled with this pick because I love Abe, and I don't want to feel like I'm putting him down into this spot as sidekick. But the more I thought about it, the more I feel like he fills so many of the ideals of what we're talking about.
I don't like the fact that he chopped that cherry
Listen,
tree.
man, I'm not going to argue this. My number one is very similar.
And so he's a character who has gone on to, he has his own mythos. He has his own amazing creation story. He has lived an entire life.
Most of these sidekicks have their own backstory. They have their own.
Very true.
They're their own.
And he went on to a great run in his own books. But when it's all said and done, it came down to he's Hellboy's right-hand man. So my number 2 is Abe Sapien.
That's a great pick, man.
It's a good pick. I love the Mike Mignola's the whole BPRD world. I love that shit.
So good.
I'm heartbroken at what's happened with the movies where they don't let Guillermo del Toro make, like with Ron Perlman and that, like the fact that they weren't allowed to
so perfect.
Make a third one, which was
so good. I don't understand why people shit on Golden Army so bad.
Golden Army is one of my favorite movies.
It's so great.
Love that movie.
People shit on that movie? How the fuck
shit on that movie? It's
dude,
so
people
good.
love to shit on Golden Army.
Oh,
it's
man.
bizarre.
Those people are toxic. You don't need those people.
You don't need those
I
people
don't
in
need
your
those
life.
people in my life. You're right, because Golden Army is a fucking pinnacle movie. It's so good, and it's one of those movies where you can tell they went to Guillermo del Toro with a blank check and were like, "Yo, fuck it, everything you did is great. Just go."
They should have let him do it again.
I'll
never forgive whoever fucking made that decision.
Right, and you know, I got nothing against the guy from Stranger Things or whatever, but it's not hashtag not my.
No, I never saw that one.
I never saw it either. I couldn't bring myself to watch it.
It was fine for what it was, but that's not my
interested in seeing it, but I just whenever I want to watch Hellboy, I'll watch.
Just watch Hellboy.
Del
Ron
Toro's.
Perlman and everything about Del Toro's were so perfect.
Yeah.
What about?
All right. So my number 2 is, here we go. We can talk about it. Batgirl, Barbara Gordon. Batgirl being is my number 2.
I'll let you guys go first.
No, shit on it before we start even talking about
I'll just say this.
She was literally created to fill in Batman's needs as a communicator.
There is a Barbara Gordon character who's a sidekick, but it's not Batgirl. It's Oracle. Batgirl is very much her own.
Oracle is the better sidekick.
Oracle is the sidekick. Batgirl is very much her own hero.
I said Barbara Gordon.
But they
I did not say a hero name. I said Barbara Gordon. The same way
Barbara Gordon is Oracle is a sidekick.
You actually said both. You said Barbara Gordon. You said Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, and that's when I said table.
Okay.
So you actually said both. However, thank you for leaving me in my time of need when I'm being attacked, Michael. Very, very Clark of you. No, I am. No, I don't give a fuck. I'm not the biggest fan of Oracle. I don't give a fuck. Not that I dislike her. I have no qualms against Oracle. That's fine. But that to me is a fucking computer nerd. I don't give a fuck about computer nerds.
Yeah, that's what makes her a sidekick.
I don't fucking read comic books. I don't read comic books.
She does so much more for the entire Bat family as Oracle than she ever did as
somebody Google shit. All right, I don't fucking read comic books for that. Fuck that. I read comic books to fucking watch people kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I hope to God that they're all out of fucking bubble gum, because that's what I'm reading comic books for. Batgirl is the shit. She's listed as a fucking she's listed as a sidekick to Batman on
there's no argument on that.
On multiple sites. She's fucking Batman's sidekick. She's part of the Bat family. So she's part of that. I think she's phenomenal. My favorite is New 52 Batgirl, because I haven't gotten into.
She is great.
I haven't gotten into the Rebirth storyline yet. It's gonna take me a little bit. I'm broke right now. But she's fucking dope. I love the fucking outfit of the purple and yellow with the fucking big yellow boots. That to me was fucking awesome. The fact that she rides a motorcycle is fucking cool as shit too.
That all goes back to the Batman 66 show.
Correct. David taught me that today, that Barbara Gordon was introduced in the Batman 66 series, and very much like Harley Quinn, she became very popular during the show, and then they wrote her into the comics. I did not know that before speaking to Dave earlier today.
That show defined that show defined so much of like what Batman became, just because they knew it was campy. They knew they were joking around, but people fucking took it like this is Batman now, because there wasn't really any other.
There's a documentary on it, and people said that when the show came out, the kids, when they were like 9 or 10, they're like, "Oh, cool, Batman." But like year 3, they were like, "Oh, fuck these Batman!" Like they were just so angry. What started off as like that, and then people who were like 15 and were like, "Oh, I love Batman. There's a new Batman show. Let's watch it." They're like, "What the fuck is this?" They were so like they were ripped apart because they were like, "I'm so torn," because it was very popular for like a year and a half, 2 years. The first 2 seasons.
Well, they started going crazy because everybody was coked out of their brains and doing LSD and bat dances. And
put him in a bathing suit. Still keep his fucking back costume on, but put a bathing suit on that motherfucker. Like it's so
bad shark spray.
Shark repellent.
Shark spray.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's still, I mean, but it's still like
it's science, baby.
Yeah, they can't. That's like, oh well, Commissioner Gordon is in the show. It's like, well, we can't have him flirt with Commissioner Gordon all the time. Give him a daughter. And then there was it. That's like, I imagine that they didn't think enough. They didn't think any further than that when they're like, yeah, give him somebody to flirt with. Give him a pretty girl to show on screen. And then it became like, again, just because it was like this little throwaway thing, it becomes this entire entity. And then she also presented like there was that weird fucking, what was the animated one where Batman and Barbara Gordon fucked?
The killing
joke. Fuck that.
That was terrible.
Didn't like it.
Here's the thing that bothers me about that whole movie, the animated movie, Killing Joke. That the movie itself wasn't bad. It was. Joke. It just wasn't Killing Joke. If you would have named that shit anything else, you would have named it anything else. But when you read
your World War Z, it's your World War Z.
It's my fault, which is what I was about to say. It's my fault for reading the books beforehand. That's my fault, really. I should have waited for them to make the movie, because if you read The Killing Joke, it's such a phenomenal book, and then you watch the movie, you go, this ain't this ain't the same thing. And I think it's fine on its own if you just don't call it The Killing Joke. If you would have called that movie fucking Batman Bangs fucking Batgirl, you're like, all right, cool, I'm down for some bat porn, bro. Let's talk into bat.
I've seen bat porn.
So let's keep it like, I don't give a fuck, but the fact that they called it Killing Joke, it was like, oh, buddy.
I'm not crazy about Killing Joke in the first place. Like I like it fine. And I like,
it's no Court of Owls. Let's not get crazy.
No. I like the psychology that Joker's trying to like put out there. You know, that you're just one bad day away.
That's the best. That is the absolute best part of all of Killing Joke, is that everybody's one bad day away from being the Joker.
I personally don't like going into that dark a place. I remember the first time I read Killing Joke, and I was like, I think this is too dark for me.
Oh, I'm not that guy at all. Let's fucking read
all. Well, the idea
I've got to live those moments through comics, and that's how I then proceed with the normal life.
Well,
you're right. I am one bad day away, and now I've lived it out here, and I can carry on as an elementary school.
That's why I listen to metal music.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
But the idea, so
Justin Bieber, I get it.
Yeah, get it all out. The Barbara Gordon element of it for me is that there is that, again, there's this character development that has to occur for me to feel like you're not just a one-note story. And with Barbara Gordon, she goes from being like this like empowered, physically graceful superhero to getting shot in the fucking spine and becoming paralyzed, and then still having like the fortitude to read, like, instead of the Jason Todd thing where he's like rebuilt out of this spiritual magical thing. She doesn't need that. She literally just wills herself to become this other person. Right. And become.
Did you say she wheels herself?
Will.
No.
No, I didn't. You fucker, I get it.
No, I didn't. You are the one. You are the one that said. You are the one that made people think that. But but yes, she becomes empowered to like she like finds this new strength and rebuilds herself in this new entity.
She like the new strength is in her arms now.
It was though, like when she was Oracle, she could do the rings and shit. Like she was legit.
She kept herself in shape.
Still bad.
Body strength, baby. Got to get all that upper body strength.
Look, when this is all said and done, and Barbara Gordon makes the ultimate mountain, the final mountain, because she only won with multiple votes so far. I need just Barbara Gordon's face on it, not specifically Domino Mask, Batgirl, because I do believe that Oracle is the sidekick that we're looking for here.
No, I don't agree. Unless you have Oracle as your number one, you don't even get a say of this. I don't even understand.
Wait, so far there's who's the other one that had 2 votes?
No, that's it.
No, that's the only one so far.
No.
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn. Well, she didn't. Yeah, she didn't get tape. You're right. She was just both.
All them broads, man. All them broads.
DC loves a sidekick.
DC loves the women, y'all. Marvel need to get up in your shit.
Yeah, Marvel just puts their women into superhero roles without making them sidekicks.
But then also doesn't release the movies until their character dies. So
ooh, hot take.
She did eventually become Captain Marvel. She didn't have to be Miss Marvel forever.
What? Yeah.
No, she's talking about Black Widow.
I know.
You don't
also, Black Widow's great. I loved it.
Oh, dude, I thought it was spectacular. I enjoyed the shit out of it.
It was good.
Did I drink an entire pitcher while I was watching it? Yeah, but I enjoyed the piss out of it.
I can't wait to see Florence Pugh do her thing in the Hawkeye show.
It's gonna be great.
Okay.
All right. So the number 2s were Harley Quinn, Joker, Abe Sapien, Hellboy, Harley Quinn, Joker, and Batgirl, or Batman, part of the Batman family. All right. Let's get to some honorable mentions.
Production quality really dropped on that.
That's much.
Missed it by that much. Honorable mentions. All right, Dave, what are your honorable mentions?
Okay, so because of what I said earlier about judging these characters based on their time solely as the sidekick and not as their own hero, I've got Dick Grayson, Robin, and Bucky.
Exactly the reason that Dick Grayson's not on my list.
Right, and Bucky / Winter Soldier.
Man, I had him pegged as your number 1, dude.
No, see, here's the thing. I love the character of Winter Soldier, and I love the character of Bucky, but as a sidekick, like to Captain America, he's not better than any of the 4 that I have on my list. And then the other one who I went back and forth between Jimmy Olsen and this one, and I opted for Jimmy Olsen just because I'd loved him for longer. But Lockheed, the little purple dragon from X-Men,
fucking Lockheed.
Yeah,
yes.
he's Kitty Pryde's little companion buddy.
Fucking dragon.
Yeah, he's so fucking cool, and he can read her mind, and he can talk, but he doesn't because he's a little fucking asshole. And he's
fucking Silent Bob. He only says shit when it's important.
Oh, like Han Solo, he could speak Wookiee, but fucking doesn't. Fucking decades.
Yeah, Lockheed's on my
speaking to that motherfucker in English, and he fucking speaks Wookiee. You dick. What an asshole.
So yeah, he's we
Lockheed. Yeah, hell yeah.
We don't get to see his like badass warriorness often, but we hear about it secondhand all the goddamn time. And
no lie, New Mutants is fucking amazing, dude. It's such
I still haven't seen it yet.
The book.
The movie is
both, but I'm not
so underrated. I never read a New Mutants book.
I'm a New Mutants book fanatic, and I also love the movie.
That movie was fucking so underrated.
I need to watch it. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, fucking good. It's in the family.
I know that he appears.
It's in Dave's family share. That's where I watched it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I picked it up, but I still haven't seen it yet.
Okay. DeBono, what do you got for your honorable mentions?
All right, so I have got Aqualad 2, which was Jackson Hyde.
Yes.
He was incredible.
phenomenal.
He harnessed the ability of hard water. Really took the Aquaman thing to the next level.
Yeah, it was
Wong from Doctor
Nice.
Strange.
Yeah.
Wong has done some great things. I know that movie wise, after Infinity War, Wong got a lot of shit for kind of just disappearing into the ether while everybody else did their thing. But Wong has been great through the comics. Speedy as Roy Harper, I was back and forth between, but I honestly feel like his run as Arsenal while he was teamed up with Jason Todd as Red Hood was far bigger to his character development as his time as Speedy and a drug addict. However, I have a framed issue of Green Arrow where he's carrying Speedy with the fucking heroin needle still in his arm. Incredible cover. Just absolutely one of the best things that's ever happened.
One of the best covers ever, man.
Yeah.
Amadeus Cho is my last one.
Nice.
Never really kind of came into his own as a hero. He's just a genius who idolized Hercules. And
Well, he's the Hulk now, though, isn't he?
well, yeah, he did eventually become Hulk, give and take. But and then my final one is one who never said a single word, but it goes back to my Brian K. Vaughan love, and that is Ampersand from Why the Last Man. He was literally just a fucking monkey, but he brought me to tears at times. So I had to put Ampersand on the list.
Okay. Mike, honorable mentions?
All the animals: Lockheed, Crypto, Lockjaw, Red Wing,
Lockjaw, hell yeah,
Red Wing, Gleek, the monkey from the Wonder Twins.
Yeah.
All of the animals.
Snarf.
Snarf. Odie, Garfield's friend. All the animals.
Odie is fucking badass, man.
Odie's a ride or die.
Odie was created specifically to be what Garfield wasn't. Odie
was literally created.
All the animals.
We get it. DeBono drinks while he podcasts.
Yeah. The Pet Avengers is like, I was Googling like animal, like, because I wanted an animal. And then I just was like, oh shit, there's a whole bunch of them.
There's a whole bunch
There's so many animal sidekicks that I was like, just put them in honorable mentions because they're fun. I love that. Crypto, the super dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What a fucking awesome.
Silver the Bat Dog.
Yep.
Yeah. There was all of the animals. Those are my honorable mentions.
My honorable mentions are I had Aqualad 2. I didn't know he was Aqualad 2. I knew him as Aqualad. I didn't know he was Aqualad 2, but I found out today.
Jackson
Aqualad,
Hyde, man.
Yeah.
He was solid.
Mm-hmm. Then there I did like Kid Flash, but I do agree that he becomes his own entity.
Yeah, that's why Wally West didn't make my list.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking about. Yeah. So, and then there is Demolition Man. Demolition Man, also known as D-Man, is the fucking tits. If you've never seen Demolition Man,
I've seen Demolition Man, but not that guy who looks like Daredevil.
That's Daredevil Reen.
That's Daredevil year one, sir.
The costume, no, sir. The costume is on purpose made to look like Daredevil, and then the fucking cow is purposely for Wolverine.
Right.
His character's name is what is his name? Dennis Dunphy. He served with and alongside Captain America.
He was
was Daredevil, so he took the costume as a tribute to Daredevil.
So if you were a fan of Falcon and Winter Soldier, the story arc that primarily pulled from, which is called Captain America No More. Demolition Man plays a ridiculously important role in that. And kind of everything you need to know about Demolition Man is right there. He's a fantastic character. He's known for not bathing, for not having very good hygiene.
Yeah. Also,
we all got to be known for something, right?
Also,
you either die a hero or live long enough to become a villain.
He is number one nemesis to Simon Phoenix. So there's also that.
Right.
I thought he was great. I was like, this guy is fantastic. Yeah, like that's exactly what I would do as a kid. I was like, I'll have fucking Daredevil's costume and Wolverine.
This fucking guy doesn't know what the shells are for.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely does not know what the shells are for. He doesn't know what the soap is for. He doesn't know any of that shit.
Yeah.
All right, so that was an honorable mentions. Let's go into number 1.
Round 1.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back.
Do it! Come on!
All right, we're gonna start off with the number 1s, but we got to go to the timer because we're running a little long here. So let's go out to the timer. We got a 5-minute timer going on. David, what is your number 1?
All right, my number 1. It was mentioned earlier. It's Sam Wilson, Falcon.
Oh, interesting.
Wasn't it mentioned by you?
No,
I brought
it was
up.
mentioned by Mike. Mike said that he didn't really consider Falcon
it doesn't count.
a sidekick. So I went back and forth on whether or not he was a sidekick. I kind of had that sort of like internal struggle with me. And here's the thing. Falcon didn't get his own series, and it was a 4-issue miniseries until the mid-'80s. He only ever appeared in Captain America or the Avengers. So,
in all fairness, he was a minority, so
Hey.
I'm gonna get your own shit.
And then he wouldn't get his own series again until he became Captain America.
Cap Falcon.
Right. So I on that basis alone, I think, you know, the fact that he really doesn't have his own book. I think he's got one now. I've kind of not kept up with comics in the last couple of years. But his introduction in the late 60s is incredible for so many reasons. You know, he's the first black character in a mainstream comic book. Like, there were underground comics that had characters, black characters, but he was the first one in a mainstream comic book. And
Panther?
Say that again?
Does he precede Black Panther?
No, but Black Panther is. Oh, you're right. So Black Panther does come before him, because Black Panther comes out in I think it's Fantastic Four, in like a year or two before him. So he's got this interesting tie into like what is going on with the civil rights movement. And Captain America, like you were saying, Neri, like he's not a government man. He's not a G-man. Yeah. He is always going to fight for social justice. He's always going to fight for freedom. He's always going to do what America stands for, not what America says it stands for, right? Well,
it's the other way around. It's what America says it stands for. It's not what actually America actually.
Okay, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
right.
So like, just because the president tells him, "Hey, we should be doing this," doesn't mean that that's what he's going to do. In fact, he's butted head with many a president. So, so Sam Wilson gives him like almost like a wake up call, reality check to what is actually going on in the United States in the '60s, and this is shortly after he wakes up from being frozen. And he finds it's a very different sort of America to the one that he left.
Wait, Sam Wilson was also frozen?
No. Captain America was frozen.
Oh, thank God! I was like, man, they went to the
They went to that well too many times.
Freeze them all.
So he is very much like his own man. I'm not sure how much he learns from Cap. So I think that sort of like master and apprentice relationship isn't necessarily there. They are more like equals, because as much as he learns from Cap also learns from him. So there's this really interesting dynamic in their relationship, and he pretty much follows. They're like ride or die. The way that Foggy Nelson is for Matt,
absolutely.
For Matt Murdock, for Daredevil, they are for each other, but not just as Sam and Steve, but as Falcon and as Captain America. In fact, as incredible the friendship that he had with Bucky was, Falcon's been there with him longer.
Yeah, no,
And-
like the only issue I have with this pick, I think it's a spectacular pick. The only reason he didn't make my actual is the same reason that Dick Grayson didn't, and it's just because of the fact that Sam Wilson, as a character, was very much his own big thing. And I get that that's not necessarily with his own book, but that Sam Wilson very much was he stood apart from Captain America at times, and I felt like Dick Grayson went on to stand apart from Batman. So that's the only reason I didn't include
I
it.
get that. I think to kind of support my point, we very infrequently see him do his own thing, though. As much
True
as
enough,
he's
whereas Dick Grayson did move on to his own city.
Dick Grayson moves on and he does other things, and we get to see those things aside from Batman.
Did it better than Batman.
Yeah, 100%.
You're goddamn
100%.
right he did.
He fixes Bloodhaven.
Yeah.
Bloodhaven is a fucking crimeless city anyway.
But where like we see that with Dick Grayson, we don't see that with Sam Wilson, unfortunately. Where had we seen more of Sam Wilson on his own adventures, his own crime fighting, we wouldn't be having this. My number one would be a completely different pick, but because we don't get to see it, because we see him as his own man, as his own superhero, but always alongside Captain America. I mean, we're talking about from the late 60s until he gets his own Captain America book in 2015. You know, so I mean, that's a significant period of time to basically be tied to another person. And let's not forget that even though there's been 3 people who have officially been Captain America, right? Captain, Bucky, and Sam, the only person who Steve chose to be Captain America after him was Sam, not Bucky.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's the incredible.
Bucky's got mental issues, bro. You don't want to.
I don't want Bucky being Cap either.
Well,
you know,
what's the U.S. agent guy? He was technically Captain America.
No, but he wasn't.
Bro, he was
also
Club.
Isaiah Bradley.
He was not
Isaiah Bradley. Now I'll give you that one.
I will give you Isaiah Bradley. Yeah.
But he wasn't an official Captain America, so it doesn't really count. But
well, and then there were the like the counterfeit Captain Americas, the guys pretending to be Steve Rogers,
the Lieutenant America, the Sergeant,
the Sergeant General America,
PS Private Captain America.
Yeah, there was, Lieutenant Louisiana and a Major Montana. It's all the states underneath.
Yeah. There's a Captain North America. There's a Captain South America. There's a Captain.
It's Capitan South America.
Yeah, it's Capitan South America. Thank you very much. Yeah. Sudamerica.
That's a good pick, though. I like fucking.
Thanks.
I do too. Like I can't be upset with the pick. It was just always one of those things that it was very similar to the idea of Dick Grayson becoming Batman. That pissed me off was that like Dick Grayson had gone on to do his own thing as Nightwing, and it wasn't an upgrade for him to become Batman. And it really pissed me off that he became Batman instead of Jason Todd, because Jason Todd never moved on to do his own thing. I felt very similarly when Sam Wilson became Captain America. It's like he had established himself as Falcon. Moving on to Captain America seemed weird, but
yeah.
We take it up more than 5 minutes. I'm not a fan of Sam Wilson, but then again, I don't know him from the comics. I only know him from what the movies have given me, and I think he's meh at best. All right, so DeBono, what do you got for your number one?
My number one is the ultimate in sidekick. However, I did pick just one of them. My number one is Robin, but it is specifically Tim Drake's Robin. Tim Drake did go on to be Red Robin, but that's not what he's remembered as.
I love his restaurants.
Red Robin.
Yum.
Tim Drake as Robin was absolutely incredible, down to the fact that he became Robin partially because of the fact that he discovered who Batman was, because he was such a latchkey kid that didn't have shit to do other than investigate stuff. His parents were both archaeologists, I believe, and were constantly away for months at a time. And Tim Drake was a latchkey kid. And he had seen the Flying Graysons when he was a kid. He figured out who Robin was. That led him to then figure out who Batman was. And his ability, like when you look at Batman as the ultimate detective, right? The guy's got eidetic memory and all of this. Tim Drake was the ultimate in sidekick because he was Batman without the psychopathy, which, yes, Nightwing went on to become, but Nightwing was his own thing. And so Tim Drake flourished as a Robin because he was so young that he developed all of these abilities so young that he needed a mentor. And so when he became a Robin, he was standalone a great fucking superhero, but he needed a mentor because he was so young and that frontal lobe was still developing, right? Like he needed somebody to teach him right and wrong. Was Batman the person to do that? That's debatable. But he latched on to Batman because that was who he figured out. And as his parents, his mom died, I believe his dad slipped into dementia. He had a whole series of issues that Tim Drake went through. But ultimately, when you think about Robin, the idyllic Robin that you have in your head, well, the name that might pop into your head is Dick Grayson. The actual image of what you're thinking of as a Robin is Tim Drake. And so
Drake wore the little underwear? Tim Drake wore the little underwear?
He didn't wear
That's what I'm thinking about, bro. Don't get in my head, son. Don't get in my fucking head, bro.
It was chainmail underwear, too. Can you imagine the chafing that Dick Grayson had to put up with?
We can't all be Burt Ward. But what Tim Drake did at Robin elevated the idea of a sidekick because of the fact that Tim Drake very much could lead the Teen Titans and Young Justice and all of these other books that he went on to do aside from being just Red Robin and Robin in general. But Tim Drake was the epitome of what is a Robin in the fact that he was so good on his own, but he needed guidance. And that's what Batman provided. He was a missile, and Batman was the laser guiding system that sent Tim Drake in the right direction. And so you're right. When we very first started this episode, we said this could be a mountain of Robins, and there could even be honorable mentions. But the idyllic Robin is Tim Drake, and that's why he's my number one.
To you.
Hey, we've always said, hey, everybody's got their mountain.
You got your mountain, I got my mountain.
You got your mountain, I got my mountain.
All right.
So, no, fair enough, absolutely. And like we said, this could all be Robins because they've all had their high points. They've all been amazing at what they do. Tim Drake is just my Robin.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, what do you got, man?
I might get shit for this, but we've said that all this whole episode, but I don't give a fuck because Alfred motherfucking Pennyworth is the ultimate.
Such a good fucking pick.
Man.
How are you not going to have the ultimate guy who has your back is Alfred motherfucking Pennyworth?
Look, the only reason I didn't bring him up in honorable mentions is because I thought he might be Dave's number one. He is an honorable mention for me, but I honest to God thought he might be Dave's number one, so I didn't say him.
In season 2 of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, he's like, "Oh, I get to be your Alfred to your Batman," and then somebody else was like, "You pick Alfred instead of Robin," and he goes, "Alfred gets to cook up all his meals, and then he gets to take all the girls home and have and get all the dish."
Plus, Alfred's got fucking AKs. He don't give a shit. Alfred has no code of ethics.
Alfred is SAS. He's the fucking super spy, but then he's also like the father figure
he can make a hell of a grilled cheese sandwich, my friend.
Make a hell of a grilled cheese sandwich. There has never been.
It's supposed to be cold.
There's never been a bad cinematic Alfred.
Absolutely correct.
Every Alfred has been good.
Mm-hmm.
It is such a flawless character. It's such a perfectly versatile representation. You could literally be even the Gotham show. I love the dude that plays Alfred.
They're all good.
And the character itself as this kind of like just supremely devoted. He does have a code of ethics, but it's like in D&D alignment, he's like he's like lawful neutral, where he has a code, but he'll fuck somebody up. He'll break laws. But he has a code of like that's above what the laws of man are.
It's
You know,
his code. Like he's gonna protect this house. That's what he's paid to do.
we must protect this house. Yes. Alfred, anyway, he is the most deceptively badass character in comic books. I fucking love Alfred. And then in the later representations of him, of course, like I said earlier, all my shit gets jumbled together. You see even like the Michael Keaton Batmans where he's this kind of older, refined gentleman, but he just seems to know everything. He seems to be on top of everything. Then later when it's
and he's like, a good DJ, he's like
he has one of my favorite lines in that movie where like, you know, Bruce is clearly like on the warpath with Joker, and he tells him, I have no desire to spend my last remaining years mourning the loss of old friends or their sons. And he kind of puts in Bruce like that sort of feeling like
you might as well have punched him in the fucking mouth.
No shit. And even in the newest trilogy, you know, some people just want to watch the world burn. Yeah. That's Alfred. That's not Batman. That's Alfred.
Yeah.
And he had like, I do love the
Michael Caine. Such a good pick.
Yeah, I was like, how have you guys not said this yet? Alfred is the fucking best. Thus concluding my Batman-related mountain for all Batman-related picks.
It's the Bat family. Yeah, I like Alfred. I dug him in Zack Snyder's interpretation as well.
Great. Yeah.
One of my favorite lines in Zack Snyder's Justice League is when Batman and Bruce introduces Alfred to everybody to Alfred. I'm sorry, and Bruce says, "Hey, everybody, this is Alfred." And then he takes a quick pause and he says, "I work for him."
Yeah,
and I thought that was such a fucking great line. I was like, I don't get emotional superhero movies for whatever reason. It's not because they're superhero movies. It hasn't happened often. But I remember thinking like, oh,
what a good line.
That's like it hits the feels. It hits the feels.
Even in the comics, like in Nightfall, right? Like Bane figures out who Batman is, and he comes up with this whole plan to break Bruce Wayne as a human, and he shows up at Wayne Manor, and Alfred is still the last line of defense. Like Alfred went toe to toe with Bane for him.
Yeah.
Alfred is my number one.
It's
by far.
It's why he leaves Bruce.
Right. Yeah.
He tells him, he says, you can't go up against this man. I will not watch you die. And when Bruce decides to go through with it, he says, you know,
this is such a good pick, and I didn't even consider it. And I'm so like when I said Foggy, and you were like, oh, I should have thought of him. Right now, I'm having the exact same feels about your Alfred Pennyworth pick because, goddamn, this is so good. This is such a good pick.
Everybody thinks of the plucky young sidekick, not the refined gentleman butler.
Gentleman, yes, sir.
I just need my motherfuckers to, you know, yeah, he's good. Good pick.
Oh, god damn! I'm angry at my picks right now because I never considered Alfred
to counterbalance Batman. It was literally created. So let me see here. Hold on. All right. So to complete the number ones, my number one pick is Robin.
You gotta say Damian Wayne. Yes, sir. As soon as this mountain started, I was like, Nary's gonna pick Damian Wayne.
I motherfucking love Damian Wayne. There is nothing I don't love about the kid. He's fucking brash. He's so fucking. He refuses to fucking.
He's the anti-Batman.
He really much is. He gives Batman a bunch of shit. He's
like Robin, but like fuck you.
Yeah.
And
fuck you.
Punk rock Robin.
His story is so fucking cool because he's like, I'm Batman's son, who Batman didn't even know he fucking had. Here he is kicking his own fucking mom. He's like, hi, mom. Pow, kick in the face, bitch. What the fuck? Like, it's just, I love this shit. I love the story arc. I was completely new to Damian Wayne. I didn't know what Damian Wayne was when I started reading New 52. And I collected a lot of the New 52 books. And a lot of them were fucking Batman books because he has so fucking many of them. But I just love Damian Wayne. He's another one that they fucking that got killed and then they fucking brought back. And it was that whole story arc, that whole storyline was beautiful, was awesome. But I love everything about Damian Wayne. I was pre Damian Wayne. I didn't like the little kids as Robin because it just didn't seem believable. I didn't like Carrie, whatever the fuck her name was, as Robin because
Carrie Kelly.
I didn't like her because she was too small and like visually, I'm like, it's a child. Even if a child punches me, like how fucking like it ain't gonna hurt. Like this is bullshit. Like the suspension of disbelief was not like I'm fine with a man flying with a fucking cape, but I don't like a child hitting you. It doesn't. But then Damien came along, and the fact that his backstory was in the fucking League of Shadows and the whole fucking like I bought it, man. Hook, line, and sinker. I'm fucking in. David hates this pick, and I'm okay with that. But I adore fucking Damien.
Hey, are you guys discussing picks behind our backs?
No,
we're just very aware of the fact that
feelings
David is
about
not a
this
Damien character.
We've talked about.
I was gonna say I felt a little bit. I'm like, I feel
no,
betrayed.
We've talked about comic books for years, David and I, and I know his feelings on like he loves fucking Carrie, and I think she's fucking whack, and I love Damien, and he thinks that he's fucking whack. So like we have contrasting views on many things, but Robins are definitely up there.
If you wouldn't have let me pick Alfred Pennyworth, I would have picked Batman from Batman Beyond, but it's a TV show.
Hey,
but
also give a comic.
It's also
he's canonical now.
Yeah.
But
in much the same way that Harley Quinn, right? Like Harley Quinn started in.
But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take away from.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I just love Damian. I love everything about him.
I will say that one of the coolest character introductions of all time is Damian Wayne, because he was introduced. I mean, technically, he has like a one-panel introduction in the Birth of the Demon.
It's a good run.
It was a good run. You're not wrong.
Fantastic. However, his first true introduction is in Batman number 666, where it flashes forward like
fantastic fucking cover,
like
by the
30
way. If
years.
you've got one, frame it.
Yeah, it's Damien in like this like weird Batman trench coat with like this like menacing cowl, and all of Gotham is burning. And he's just like a twisted, demented Batman, and that was like really fucked up and really awesome to read it. But I just as Robin, I can't get into it, but I know a lot of people can, and I see the appeal, even though it's not.
And he's carried on to do such great things as a character that we've talked about the animated movies, that Batman versus Robin movie where Damian fucking held his own. There's 666.
That's the cover.
Yeah. But that Batman versus Robin movie, like Damian went toe to toe with Batman, like they straight squared up.
And he's a kid,
and he could go.
And that's why his backstory of him being with the League of Shadows or whatever they're called,
League of Assassins,
and everything is fucking. So League of Assassins, like that backstory to me, the fact that he was for the first X amount of years was raised by his mom, which is an assassin, and his fucking grandfather, which is fucking a demigod assassin. Like all of this shit to me makes sense. Like, oh, it's not just a child punching you in the face now. Now it's something that's different. Yeah. I love them. There's a movie, one of the animated movies, which is I believe it's Batman. Was it Batman versus Justice League or some shit? Or I own it. And it's fucking great where he gets sent off as a punishment to the Titans, and then
that was Titans versus JLA.
That's what it is.
Yeah. That's where I'm remembering.
Fucking good movie. Such a good
great
movie.
Character in that one too.
Oh, so good.
But that's what he is in the comics. He's that fucking kid where he's like, he has an attitude problem. He doesn't fucking, because he's young. He's young. He has that fucking like, I'm not gonna.
Oh, but I was talking about the guy. I'm sorry. I meant the voice. Whoever did the character voice for him in that movie is fucking. It's like so good. Like yeah.
But anyways, that's my number one. So number ones were Falcon for Captain America, Tim Drake's Robin from Batman, Alfred's Batman. And Damian Wayne's Batman.
So we got to go. Barbara Gordon gets a spot, and Robin gets a spot, right?
And Harley Quinn gets.
And Harley Quinn gets a spot. The fucking Bat family.
So it's Batgirl.
No, just Barbara Gordon.
Oh no, Batgirl. No, Batgirl. I chose Batgirl. And then who else?
Harley Quinn gets it.
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn.
And we got to say Robin gets the spot right. Just the domino mask. Because there have been multiple Robins picked.
Yeah, because I said
like,
Jason Todd. You said
I said Tim Drake. You said Jason Todd. He says Damian Wayne. So I feel like the Robin domino mask has got to get a spot.
Yeah, that's fine. That's I would give that. Yeah.
There's so the other picks are a lying cat, a truth cat.
I feel like for the last spot we got to go Alfred or Foggy. Like just the normal guy who's his boy's ride or die.
It cannot be another Bat Family member. I mean, it's all Bat Family.
The Bat Family.
So we gotta go Foggy, right?
Harley Quinn is not Bat Family.
No, but she's
Bat Family.
She's Batman related.
She's Batman adjacent.
She's not Batman Family. That's not
Batman adjacent. We gotta go Foggy Nelson.
I'm gonna see your Foggy Nelson with Sam Wilson.
I like Abe Sapien, dude. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, I
can't be mad. He was on my list. I can't be mad at the Abe.
I like Bebop and Rocksteady, bro. All I'm saying.
No, I think Abe is a solid pick. I know he was on my list, but Abe went on to do great things. But his beginning and his end were at Hellboy's side.
Can we all admit that Alfred is the best choice, but we're making exceptions to include?
I'm not going with that exception.
Alfred is the best fucking choice.
I'll throw some weight behind Mike on this.
I will fight all of you.
All be Batman picks. I will jump behind Mike on that.
There's
one.
nothing wrong
Alfred
with a whole Batman mountain.
Get outside the Bat family.
Hey, hang on a second. If we do that, do you get a perfect mountain, Mike?
No. I do not have a perfect mountain.
No, his picks include who was in picks?
Actually, technically, yes.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So you know,
Harley Quinn, Jason.
You know what?
His pick is all Bat family.
To give you a perfect mountain, I'd say sure because I love Alfred. I love the pick. So, and if it means you getting a perfect mountain, all right.
I am so shocked that I am getting this perfect mountain.
If it means Marvel not being on this mountain, I'm okay with it.
I hate that Marvel won't be on the mountain.
As much as I don't want it to be an all DC mountain, Alfred is a great pick for that last spot.
You can say what you want about DC. You can say what you want about their movies, but they have the best fucking villains, and they have the best best rogues gallery, and they have the fucking best sidekicks.
The best sidekicks, man. This is a sidekick mountain. It's all DC.
I think they have the most sidekicks, but having the most doesn't necessarily make them the best.
I think we just proved otherwise.
I could honestly throw weight behind Alfred. I appreciate that everybody. Like I said, Abe's beginning and end are at Hellboy's side, but Alfred has always been there with never having a run outside of Batman. Where Abe did, so Alfred might not be the worst fourth pick.
Alfred's ride or die, baby.
All right, Alfred.
Alfred raised him.
So
I'll throw behind Alfred.
Our final mountain is Batgirl, Harley Quinn,
Gordon,
and Alfred.
Robin, Barbara Gordon, Alfred, and Harley Quinn.
Give me some air horn for my perfect mountain.
Air horns, baby. Once I put Bob up there, I was like, I'm not getting
it.
I knew I wasn't going to get a perfect mountain. I've got fucking the kid from Dick Tracy. Come on.
I'm just glad Rocksteady and Bebop went over as well as it did. I thought I was going to get shit.
That's a great pick.
But you're fucking right. The Bat family, you can't get away from it. Bruce Wayne's pull. Yes. When you got $1 billion, everybody wants to.
It's all about the billionaires, bro. Because $1 billion is everything, man.
You got $1 billion. Everybody wants to take that show.
That's our final mountain. Make sure to check us out every Monday live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. If you're listening to the audio version, thank you very much for listening. You can check out the video. It's been saved on all those platforms, Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. Everything is at / MtGeekmore. So MtGeekmore. Make sure you check that out. Check out the other podcasts on the Geek Bro Network, including but not limited to Better Let Me Tell You, Chow Like I Best with Mike Valdez, the What's Up Bro podcast with Mike and I and some other friends, Make sure you come back, Dosavelli. Make sure you come back and check out. Go to geekbro.net because Shiver's coming back. We're gonna bring that shit back, so it's gonna be.
We got a hell of a trilogy to kick you off with.
Yeah, we got a hell of a trilogy. Check that out, and then I'm finishing up seasons. I'm recording the second to last episode of seasons in 2 days from time of this recording. 4 years in the making, baby. We're gonna finish that off, and once we do finish that, I'm gonna hit you with the next fucking podcast from the Geek Bro.
That's what we do.
Because we're a family. Thank you guys for checking us out. Make sure you check out Mike's comedy at Mike Mercadal. Everything is at his social medias at Mike Mercadal. And the bonus is at Punk_Phoenix.
Follow my half marathon training.
So there you go. Check that out. David, thank you for all of you. Thank you for being here. It's great. I had a lot of fun. Thank you for having us. And that's how lists are made.